Linda Mohammed, a mother alone with her sadness, in an Atlanta cemetery. The 5th anniversary of her son's death, shot down by his best friend with a bullet to the head. Last year in the United States, 12,000 children were killed by firearms.
It hurts as a mother to stand here and know look here, here's a kid, 1973 to 1989. 16 years. And if you look out here, most of these are young children. I mean, no life, none. All because of a gun. That somebody felt like they had power, you know, when they put a gun in their hand.
Gunsmith in Atlanta. There are 275,000 of them in the United States, more gunsmiths than gas stations. Real Alibaba caves, Colt supermarkets. You can find everything there. Revolvers from the Civil War to an Israeli Uzi. Backed up by the most liberal and yet absurd legislation.
Say I have a Georgia license.
You can purchase this rifle.
Right away.
Right away.
And I just walk out here with the rifle.
Correct.
And the ammunitions and everything. How many ammunitions in there? I mean,
you can get up to a 36-round magazine.
36 rounds. But it's still a semi-automatic.
Semi-automatic.
Okay.
One squeeze of the trigger, one round.
Okay. This is what?
It's basically the same thing as this, except this is a handgun. It's an assault pistol.
So it's considered, and this is also going to be banned?
Correct.
Okay. But for the moment you can get it. But this is a 5-day waiting period for that?
Correct.
Okay.
Plus a criminal history background check.
Okay. And there is no criminal history background on this one?
Correct.
Okay.
In a word, everything that looks like a
6
rifle
hour,
can be bought off the
$229.
shelf.
That's
But
an
every
expensive
type
gun.
of handgun requires a 5-day
It's
identity
West
check.
German.
Yeah.
Yet there are
Or
ways
Glock
of getting around this
17,
weapons law, which,
Austrian,
moreover, isn't
of
always
course,
respected
Berettas.
by gunsmiths.
Let's say I buy this gun. Okay. And I buy it here
Italian.
for whatever the price is. And I need to fill out the papers after 5 days I have it. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, as soon as I get out of the store, I'm allowed to sell it to somebody else without any paper. Is that correct?
Correct, as long as they meet all the requirements of the state. If you know that they're a convicted felon and you make the sale, it's a felony on your part.
Yeah. But I can always say that somebody stole my gun. I can. And it happens.
Guns are stolen every day, yes.
Another way of getting hold of a gun, the street.
Your home slice?
A meeting set up by a dealer in the center of Atlanta. The salesperson is a young woman, unaware that she's being filmed.
I got the money. What do you have? A big piece. Or how do you want to fill them? I want 200. Show me the piece.
Let me see the money first, right? I don't do business without seeing the money first.
That's 200 there.
Please.
Okay. Okay. Then
A stolen weapon, without a doubt an Italian Beretta, for $200. Why pay more in a store? Atlanta, capital of the great American South, site of the Olympics in 1996. As far as its crime rate goes, it breaks record after record. And just living there is worth a gold medal in itself. Atlanta, a gigantic metropolis with a population of over 2 million inhabitants. More than 70% are Afro-American. And among these Afro-Americans, the vast majority lives under the poverty threshold. Drugs have invaded the city. Crack, like everywhere else in the United States, dominates the market. Youngsters, rather than working at a McDonald's for $5 an hour, prefer dealing. In just a few minutes, they fill their pockets with $100 bills. Alex is 16 years old. He never knew his father. His mother has never paid any attention to him. He knows the business of drug dealing inside out. He's been involved in it for years, with crack in one pocket and a revolver in the other.
Like over here and down that street, I used to sell drugs and stuff down up in there. And me and my buddies, when we get finished, we come up here and eat and go over in this parking lot over here and start, we have our gun and stuff. We just take it out and just start shooting in the air or whatever. And after that, we might walk down here, buy some more drugs or talk to girls or whatever, and go home, basically. We just go out down to the basketball court and play around. And
Was there a time when at that time, you shoot at somebody?
now, at that time, I didn't. But one day, I was supposed to have been in school, and I went down to the park, me and some more boys. And this man, he just started talking shit. So it was like something about this, something that happened at the skate ring the Saturday before that. And so I was like, man, fuck that shit. He walked off, and I pulled my gun, I just started shooting at him. And he was shooting back and shit, but I hit him. I saw him go down. But other than that, I don't know if he died or not, because, I was like paranoid. I just ran, and other than that, I never heard anything else about it. Nobody else said anything, and nothing else said. And like every day, just be the same old. Just come down here, sell drugs, eat, leave, or go to school, talk to girls, and leave or whatever. But
How old were you then?
When all this, like 13 or 14, when all this was taking place. When I first shot somebody, and basically when I first really just got into selling drugs and stuff.
Alex doesn't go to school anymore. He can afford it. But he goes back there from time to time to hang out around the entrance with his friends who belong to the gang known as the Folks from Chicago. A gang with traditions, like this strange manner of saying hello. Its leader, Domino, is 16 years old, too.
When I hold a gun, it's maybe, makes me feel almighty powerful, Man, I fought so many times, did all kind of stuff. Maybe never killed nobody before, I don't like taking people's life. I done shot at people, maybe shoot people.
You shot at people?
I beat them up, But everything I do, I have a purpose for doing it. I don't do nothing that doesn't have a purpose to it.
This Atlanta Force and Juvenile, and it was like the first time that I was locked up. I was locked up for theft by receiving, theft by taking of a stolen car. And I did 3 days down here before I went to court, and they gave me 60 days probation, which in that time when I got out, I got locked up for carrying a concealed weapon, carrying a weapon without a license. And the total times I came down here was like 9 times in a 6-month period, just for little small stuff. But they never really gave me any serious time for anything. Through all the stuff I've been through, I say I am lucky. All the fights and all the shootouts and everything, I'm pretty lucky to be alive.
Are you lucky not to be in jail?
Yeah, I'm really. I wouldn't call it luck for me not to be in jail. I just say I'm using common sense.
For the time being, Alex is trying hard to return to a clean life. He knows that at best, he might wind up in a prison like this penitentiary for adolescents in Georgia. The youngsters inside are between 13 and 17 years old.
Mama, can't see. Not the kid I used to be. I'm not the kid I used to be. Mama, can't see. Mama, can't see. I'm not the kid I used to be. I'm not the marching every day. Down marching every day.
How many would you say in your class have guns?
About 25 in my class. Out of the 25, about 12, 13.
Half of them.
Yes.
And the first time you used a gun, how old were you?
The first time I really used it, I was about 11.
When was the first time you used a gun?
When I was about 8.
8. And what did you do with that gun today?
I shot somebody.
And how did it happen? Can you remember?
I just felt like doing something. And I just went and shot somebody in the leg. I know it might sound kind of funny. I just like seeing people, well, at that time, I just like to seeing people how they run and all that kind of stuff. I just like that. I like the way they react.
How many people do you think you shot?
Not a lot. Not a lot, about 5 or 10, the most.
5 or 10, mostly black?
Yeah, just a few white.
Dude, you lost your mother?
Yes, sir.
Then who raised you, your father?
Not really. See, back when she was alive, it was just like a toss back. And then when she died, just with relatives, he drinks too much. And so, you know, he's never really there for me. So it's just like, if I need something, you gotta learn. You gotta learn how to survive. If you don't, you ain't gonna make it.
I done killed 2.
You killed 2?
Yes.
How did it make you feel to kill 2?
Well, no, I wasn't happy about it at first, but then, you know, once I got back around all the homeboys and everything, and they like, yeah, you killed him, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You down with us? So then, you know, it seemed like a big thing, but no, it really wasn't.
Were you considered among your gang, were you considered one of the big timers?
Yes, sir.
Big boss?
Yes, sir.
Because you killed?
Yes, sir.
Is that how you become the big boss, by killing?
Yes, sir.
There's a time coming when everybody's gonna need a gun. And I plan on having mine.
Anthony, 17 years old, who found it so funny to shoot at people, is now a free man. He spent 3 years in prison for 2 murders. His grandmother brought him up, but she knew next to nothing about young Anthony's real life. Ignorance or blindness, perhaps more simply, just not being able to understand him.
This is our home. Welcome home, Anthony. He had a very good childhood.
This is what's so sad.
Yes, he had a very good child. I don't see Anthony as a killer. I know him from a baby, and I don't see him as a killer.
You know he killed more than once?
No.
Did you tell your grandmother? No? He told me he killed more than once.
If you are black and poor and uneducated, then you will be just like you're worse than the recycling bin, because there's a recycling facility for paper. There's a recycling facility for rubber. There's a recycling facility for glass. There's a recycling facility for plastic. But there is no recycling facility for the uneducated black man or woman or child. There is no recycling facility. So you will be lost. You will be disposable.
Day after day, indistinguishably, in the Atlanta courthouse, children, ever more children who steal, shoot at each other, and kill. In 6 years, an increase of 143% in child criminality. We met one of the city's district attorneys, Sam Cooper.
This is no victory. I mean, you don't feel good about prosecuting 14, 15-year-old kids, and you don't feel good about 14 and 15-year-old victims. I mean, the way I see my job, all I'm doing, the only thing I'm doing is getting these people out of circulation for some period of time so they don't hurt somebody else. And that's not a solution.
Are you afraid of what goes on?
I'm afraid for other people about what goes on, yeah, because I think our society has become far more violent in the last 5 or 6 years.
And you think there's a reason for that?
Yes.
And the reason is what you were saying earlier?
Oh, I think that's one of the reasons. I think we're fascinated with violence. I mean, you watch TV programs, movies, they're all, the ones that people want to go to are all violent movies.
With the exception of swear words, this film, True Romance, a hit from 1994, was shown on television without any censorship. Television that thrives on violence, especially at news time. Murders
First at
and
10
more
tonight on
murders,
Channel
an
46
unending
News
crime
at 10,
show.
a service station attendant
weather
turned the
report coming
tables on
last.
a would-be robber, shooting him dead. A routine traffic
And if
stop
that
erupted
isn't
with
enough,
gunfire
the
and
police lend a helping
manhunt in
hand
Henry
by
County.
setting up cameras in their cars and
Here is
broadcasting
where the
chase
hearts
scenes.
started pounding, and it was about to get worse.
Like this
Henry
one.
County police tried to
Two
pull
men
over
at the
the
wheel of
driver
this
on the
van
Hudson
refused to
Ridge Road
stop
exit
and
off
managed to
75
escape.
South. A temporary tag has
And
tipped
the
off the
ratings shoot
officers.
up to the
Police
ceiling.
spokesman Lieutenant Carl Beasley picks up the action.
You notice the passenger door open where the passenger is attempting to lead. It goes back down the off-ramp, cuts across the lane of traffic, and heads into the wooded area. If you look closely, you'll see the feet of the passenger as he bails out and runs down the road.
What you are about to hear is the actual shooting of this police officer as he called 911 for help.
Give us a vehicle over here, 29 York Street. Well, that's 29 York. 29 York? We have it. Hello? Hello? Yeah, 29 York?
I have all these houses down here. I just bought this house from the guy.
America is fascinated by violence, just as it's in love with firearms. Here, following long negotiations, we've been authorized to film a major gun show with more than 15,000 revolvers and guns on sale over 400 square meters. Between $40 and $200, you can find anything you want here, and the salesmen are not very particular as to regulations. It must be said that this market brings gunsmiths profits of over 30% and buyers from all over the world.
This is what they call the Thunder 5. It's 3-inch 410 shotgun shells or 45 long Colt. It's for home defense. With the 410, you don't have over penetration like you would with a 45 or 44 Magnum. The shotgun shell, if you missed, would just hit the wall and stop. It wouldn't penetrate into the next house, the next apartment, or the next room. This is one my father carries.
And how much is that?
These run $500.
$500.
I bought this house from the guy.
They don't care about it.
Probably own about 15.
15? And AK-47?
I have an AK.
Yeah. And what do you do with the AK? It's just for protection?
I deer hunted with it last year.
Yeah?
Yeah, I killed a 9-point buck with it last year.
But you have certain guns that you use only for protection?
Yeah, my shotgun.
Your shotgun?
Yeah. I've got a shotgun. I keep
And you
right by
carry
the
a gun
bed.
with you or never?
In my car, I own a store.
Yeah.
So I carry a gun in my car and one in my store because I carry a large amount of cash. The problem is that they're starting to change the Constitution. They're starting to change the things that made this country what it is today. And the fallacy about this whole thing is that people say, what do you need 10 rounds to hunt for? More than 10 rounds to hunt? The Constitution was not written about hunting. Okay? The right to bear arms didn't have nothing to do with hunting.
It is the right to bear and own, operate firearms to protect yourselves from governments, foreign and domestic, okay? That's what it's for. That's why we need our clips. That's why we need our assault rifles to, you know, to keep this government that we're under now from changing the things that have made this country what it is today.
What would you do if someone was coming in your home? Get a butter knife? I mean, you have your children and your loved ones and everything you work for in your life.
This man coming out of the gun show has just bought himself an Italian pump gun for $400. Americans feel threatened. Consequently, they have the right to defend themselves. Target practice ranges are booked up from morning till night.
Two paroled criminals with long records, just buying coffee and cigarettes until the cash drawer opens. At this moment, how could this innocent man's life be saved? By gun bans? Registration and licensing? By politicians? By police? By the media? No, the only thing that could save this man is a good old God-given right put in black and white by the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. The right to keep and bear arms.
These images are those of a real holdup filmed by a surveillance camera, and the Association Defending Free Access to Firearms, the NRA, uses it as advertising. The NRA, a strong lobby with several million members, flooding Congress with money to attract the goodwill of the elected, who moreover regularly prove to be ready, willing, and able to comply. Nevertheless, adversaries of the NRA fight back, backed up by shots of the assassination attack against former President Ronald Reagan, in the course of which his spokesperson, Jim Brady, was left a cripple. Today, Brady moves about and speaks only with the greatest difficulty, but he has still taken on the leadership of the crusade against firearms. The group's slogan is "America needs a national gun policy." But neither the movies nor TV seem to hear Jim Brady's cry for the greater happiness of a young generation that understands better than ever the language of bullets. In these shots, we have voluntarily mixed fiction, the bloody finale from True Romance, and reality, a carnage in a Texas restaurant. 3 years ago, a man killed 23 people with a pump gun. Guilty or not guilty, perhaps, but in any event, quite real.
The man was standing up, everybody else in the cafeteria was down.
But on this day, Grasha did not have her gun with her.
The Atlanta police may seize hundreds of firearms a month, but there are always more. Today, it is estimated that there are nearly 300 million revolvers and rifles in circulation in the United States. Almost 1 firearm per person, 3 per household. This is a typical story of guns and children. We are in one of the residential neighborhoods of the Afro-American middle class in Atlanta. Brenda Mohammed had a son, 16 years old, Norbert.
This was his room.
In 1989, he got into an argument with his best friend, Michael Sellers, the same age as himself, over a sports jacket. Provocations followed by threats. Until the day when Michael, with little pocket money like so many other children, started selling marijuana with a gun in his hand.
done so well. You know, it was almost like a brother taking the life of another brother. And it just, how can you sleep in somebody's bed? You know, my son slept on the floor and let him sleep in his bed sometimes. How can you eat at somebody's table? How can you go on trips with people, with a family, and feel like a part of that family, and do that? I mean, what's your rationale? Where is the thinking? There is no thinking. There is no thinking. You see, most times these kids with guns, not even kids, even adults, don't think. And I don't know, I may be wrong. I may be wrong and I may be naive, but I just believe somewhere in my heart that this kid is so sorry. I believe he is so sorry that if he could turn back the hands of time and go back to that day, I really truly believe that it wouldn't be the same.
We found Michael Sellers. He's 21 years old today. After 12 months of preventive imprisonment, a jury acquitted him on the grounds of self-defense. An astonishing verdict. Michael doesn't seem traumatized by his act, carried out deliberately and without regret.
I feel sorry that I had to be the one to kill him, but then I feel overjoyed that I'm still alive. He was just walking toward me real slow. So I said, Norton, I said, what's up, man? He said, Mike, you got that gun, don't you? I said, yeah, man, you know. And then I really just started talking. I said, yeah, man. And he was like, yeah, I'm finna show you how to die. I'm finna show you how to kill somebody. So I pulled out the gun and I shot. But I didn't shoot at him. I, kind of shot past him. And
the gun went off?
Yeah, I shot past him, kind of up in the air and away from him. I was like, go on, man. And, he was like, hey, it's time to die, but I'm gonna show you how to die. You don't know how to kill nobody. So I shot again, tried to scare him. And he just kept on walking. So then he turned around, turned his back to me and put his hands on his hip like this. And he was like, Mike, you want me to show you how to kill somebody? You don't know how to kill somebody. I'm gonna show you how to kill somebody. Time to die, old boy. So he came around like that. And I had the gun down at my side. I just pulled it up and just pulled the trigger. And I hit him in the head.
One Christmas, as a matter of fact, about 2 or 3 Christmases after, about 2 Christmases after, I was backing out of the yard one day and I thought I saw a shadow as I was backing out, coming down the street, or just near the mailbox. But something told me to look back again, and I almost hit the person. And when I looked, it was him. And I'm gonna be very honest with you. I'll be very, very honest with you. I think that was probably the first and only time that I thought about if I could have hurt him. Actually, to be honest with you, I thought if I could have killed him.
Once upon a time, Miss Muhammad was like a mother to me, But, if, like, about 3 years ago, her youngest son, he caught me on the street one day, and I had a gun on me then, and he walked up on me. I was standing with a girl, and I was standing in the projects. He walked up on me, and he slapped me, and his friend slapped me. Out of just came like I was just talking to the girl, and I looked up, and they were right up on me. Couldn't do anything. I probably could have pulled a gun or whatever, but I didn't really want to get into all that. So he slapped, both of them slapped me. And I just kind of looked at him and kind of bagged off and walked away, because to be honest, I couldn't bring myself to this day to inflict any more harm on that lady than I already had.
Michael lost his mother when he was 6 months old. He doesn't know his father. His uncle and aunt brought him up as their own son, a united family without any material problems. Nevertheless, as of puberty, Michael chose the path of violence, easy money, and drugs. They would do anything to get him out of this
same
predicament.
Okay, that
In
was same
vain.
feet. These two are
What does it
Paul.
matter?
These two might
Their
be the
love
same
will
day.
always be there, today, just as yesterday.
This looks like elementary school.
I know that we're not perfect. I know that we've made mistakes, but I know that we've given Mike a good foundation. And if he falls back on that, he can go anywhere he wants to, and he can succeed.
Even in this particular instance where he ended up taking someone's life, ultimately it was the right thing for him to do. It was wrong for him to allow circumstances to build to the point where he had to do this. But it was a situation where it was either his life or this other person's life, and he decided to save his own life. But I basically think Michael is a person who ultimately will do what's right. But then he's gullible sometimes as far as succumbing to peer pressure. And all of these kids, and the danger is that all of these kids are forced in this life of machismo where they figure that they've got to do what society says is a manly thing to do. And for that reason, I'm scared not only for him, but for all of them.
Shot other people after that?
Yeah, but I didn't kill anyone, no.
But did you wound it? Do you think somebody got wounded?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
How many?
Well, 2.
2? Do you remember the incidents?
Yeah.
Why'd you do it?
It was like...
Because of drugs again?
No, because I was still selling, but then I was like what they call a robber.
You were robbing things.
I was robbing people, and it wasn't really because I needed the money, because I was also selling drugs and I had a little money. But it was like once I got out of jail, I was like a hero. It was crazy. It was like I had just won something, like this guy, I ain't gonna say his name, but this guy, he was a big-time drug dealer over in one of the projects. He was like, Mike, you want to be a hitman? I was like, a hitman? And to be honest, the craziness about it is I was seriously thinking about it. I was like, I just got the big hit. I felt like I was, some untouchable figure,
For free and buy me 6 drinks. I ain't going back to that club. Richard handled it wrong. Richard handled it wrong.
See, I'm a veteran of the street, and it's like if I was to get back on ground level, the other vets would look down on me. If I enter the drug trade again, pushing nicks and dimes, that ain't, what I'm saying? I wouldn't get no respect that way. And really what you get into the game for, the dope game for, is respect.
If somebody made a proposition saying you're going to be big time again, would you do it?
Well, I wasn't really ever big time.
Yeah, but you're going to make it big time. Would you do it?
To be honest, I can't really say no. I can't really tell you I would say no. And I know I can't tell you I would say yes either. To be honest, I would have to weigh everything. The saddest day of my life? Well, probably the day that my baby mom brought my baby over to my house and asked me for some money, and I ain't have any. He was sick, and she needed some medicine, and I ain't have no money, and it kind of stabbed me real deep.
Today, Michael is trying to rehabilitate himself. His son is his whole life. Nevertheless, like so many others, he has separated from the mother of his child. For this baby, he wants to leave the world of firearms and drugs and find a new respectability. But it's not so simple when you've lived the easy life on the street. Michael knows that his child's future depends on it. Omaha, Nebraska, in the heart of America, a city of 600,000 residents, one of the richest in the country. Less than 3% unemployment. Omaha, 90% white. A peaceful city, so it was believed. But little by little, gang violence has invaded it like a cancer. This is neither Los Angeles, Chicago, nor even Atlanta. Violence exists. Children murdering other children, all in the name of a war for a piece of territory. And on the walls, graffiti as the calling card of murder. Among all these gangs, the Lomas reign in the south of the city. They are between 14 and 18 years old. Some of them, the most civilized, have accepted to meet with us. And because one refuses to be filmed, the group punishes him. A game, but equally a rule. The gang is one, indivisible.
You look weak, man. Sorry. Huh, we look weak.
Have you ever shot at somebody?
Yeah.
How did it feel?
I don't know, I was mad because like they shot at me, so now they shot back.
Yeah. You were 14 the first time you had a gun?
Yeah.
And when you touch that gun, when you have it, what does it feel?
It's like a feeling of power, you know, because like when you're like that young and stuff, and you got a gun, you feel like you could just take on somebody like 20 or 30, because you got a gun, you know. You can't beat them up, you just shoot them.
Do you remember the first time you heard a gunshot?
Yeah, it wasn't very long ago.
Yeah? That was when?
Maybe 2 months ago.
You got scared?
Yeah.
Yeah? And does that make you afraid to be a member of a gang because of that, or?
Yeah, but, you know, it's just part of being it, I guess.
Life.
Yeah.
If it was necessary, would you shoot on somebody?
Yeah, if it was necessary, I would, but not just for no reason.
But if it was a member of the Bloods, for example?
No, I wouldn't just shoot him for nothing, but if he shot one of my homeboys or even shot at me, I'd shoot back at him.
Yeah. You have a gun?
No,
You wish you had one?
sometimes.
Yeah. What would you like to do with your life? Do you have any idea what you want to do in 10 years?
No,
No? You have no desire?
not really. Just whatever comes up.
Do you think of death sometime?
Yeah,
Do you think that maybe you're in a situation where you might not see the age of 20?
yeah.
What does that make you feel?
It's just how it is. Don't really have no feelings about it. If it happens, it happens.
You're scared?
No.
No?
Omaha, in the Midwest,
this
where
one
everything
here,
was built with a weapon in hand during the last century.
You drop this in
The firearm here is a tradition,
that.
man's best friend.
It goes in.
We're in the home of Rick Millard, a repairman,
Then on the
and like
last
all his
round,
neighbors, a fanatic of
this
rifles and pistols,
clip.
20 or so in all.
All right, is this clicker?
A
Comes
banal
back,
arsenal,
and that
and here,
flies up out of the
homemade
air,
bullets.
and a breech
But bullets
locks
not
back.
solely with animals in
You
mind.
actually make new bullets with this. You don't even have to go to the store. You just make these bullets over and over and over.
This gun right here, and Bill can tell you, with my accelerators and stuff I've got at home, this gun right here, I can kill you at probably just under 10 blocks. I could shoot you directly in the head with it.
And this is not the least of paradoxes. Rick is what is known as a mad dad, a member of an organization devoted to diverting teenagers from their life of violence. Every evening in his truck, he scours the streets of Council Bluff, a suburb of Omaha, playing mediator and Good Samaritan. It was on the heels of a shootout between teenagers, in which he was arrested, that Rick decided things finally had to change.
This spot right here is where there was some kids in this neighborhood go at each other quite regularly. conflicting gangs. Right here, about 3 weeks ago, another gang was shooting at another gang.
What kind of gangs do we have in a small town like this?
See, that's a misconception. It doesn't matter where you're at in the United States anymore. You have kids either want to be gang members or you have gang members. And in this case, we've crossed over from the wannabes to the major gangs. There's no really place, no matter if you're in the Midwest, in the East Coast, the West Coast, these kids are violent. They're very outgoing with being in a gang. They're proud of being in a gang, and they fight among each other. It's just unreal. I mean, they think nothing of shooting each other.
Who are these kids for you? Who are these kids, basically?
These are our kids. This could be your son. This could be my son, my daughter, your daughter. These are just kids that have grown up. They're just growing up in the Middle West. They have their actual goals in life. They really don't have anything. They don't have a way to go. They don't believe in the future. They see this as their way of life forever. A lot of these kids don't believe they're going to live long.
Benson, the residential neighborhood of Omaha, a land of milk and honey. And yet once again there are gangs, children who aspire to become killers, like the BMG, Benson Mafia gangsters, whose leader wears a mask out of fear of the authorities. Whether this means the city authorities or his own father, it's hard to tell.
Angel, how many years have you been in a gang?
About two, 3.
Why did you start being in a gang?
Cause just trying to protect our own. Too many people messing with us.
And I see that you have a gun. What is your gun?
9mm.
Have you ever used it?
Couple times.
What did you use it for?
Drive-bys.
Do your parents know you have a gun?
No.
No? And what do you intend to do later on? I mean, do you intend to get out of the gang?
I don't know. It depends. I mean, it's really hard to get out of a gang, you know, and like other gang members, they're the only family you really got, you know. We're the only ones backing each other up. We ain't got nobody else.
What about your family?
You know, I mean, most of our family don't care. I mean, I know mine does and everything, but, you know, I mean, it ain't all about family.
It's about what?
About surviving.
There's no clip. I'm thirsty. I don't got it in. It's SKS. Semi-automatic assault rifle.
Shit. And that's a what? It's made where?
Let me check that out when you're done, because I haven't seen that yet.
China? How did you get that?
Homeboy hooked me up. $60.
$60? And how many rounds can you put in there?
30 round clip.
It can hold
it. 30 round clip.
When you have this in your hand, what do you feel?
I'm gonna get respect.
You're gonna get respect?
Yeah.
That's what you get, respect?
That's what I get.
That's what you get.
Feel like nobody can stop you when you got a gauge or something. Feel more powerful.
You're unfadable with a gun, man.
Nobody messes with you. They know you
It don't
got
come
it.
down to fist fights. I mean, just walk up to somebody, pull the trigger, and then that's all over.
Blow somebody's head off with that thing, man.
Shoot up at every house.
Yeah, either of you had a real automatic?
No, I haven't had a fully automatic yet.
Never fully automatic?
No.
Working on
That's
it.
next.
That's next?
Yep.
When do you expect to have one?
2 weeks, 3 weeks.
And what kind of automatic would you get?
Whatever I can get, whatever's the cheapest.
Mag 10.
What do you think?
Tech 9.
Tech 9, Tech 20.
Glock 40.
That's how much?
Anywhere from like 100 to 150.
That's cool.
And that car we tried stealing right here, man.
The
Yeah,
BMG
man,
game
Mustang,
consists of
get
marking
that
its
Mustang
territory,
shit car.
patrolling every evening after school to make sure there are no interlopers or members of rival gangs. They play tough guy, children easily confusing reality with fiction. The only problem is that the guns in their hands
homeboy used to live in
are
that
very
house.
real.
Used to have parties like every
Parties
night.
every night, man.
If you had a wish, what would that wish be?
Get a lot of money.
What are you gonna do with a lot of money?
I don't know, get whatever I can. Get a gun, get
What gun would you like to get?
like a automatic, like a 9 or something. A little 25. Something that'll hurt somebody if they try messing with you.
I've shot at people. I mean, I've shot at houses and stuff, but up here one night, me and Dopey was up here, and some dude sat there and they rolled by. They said, "What's up, blood?" I said, "Fuck you, cuz." And I shot my gun at them, and
They shot at the car and they boned out.
They took out around the lights and stuff.
Who do I respect the most? Have to be my dad.
Are you scared of him?
Huh?
Are you scared of him? Yeah.
Yeah, but he don't live around here, so I don't gotta worry about that.
Where does he live?
Huh?
Where does he live?
He lives in Baltimore.
You haven't seen him for how long?
While.
Does he talk to you from time to time?
Every once in a while. When he's gotta pay child support or something like that. Something. I don't really
Spend
talk to him.
holidays with him?
No.
So you live with your mother, and you're not scared of her?
My mom? No, I ain't scared of my mom. My mom's cool though.
In the course of their daily cruising to the beat of hard rap, softened by a few shots of tequila, the BMGs think they're in Los Angeles, in the heart of an asphalt jungle, where certain Afro-American neighborhoods have become battlefields. Right down to their very gestures, the BMGs take themselves for blacks. Meanwhile, Rick pursues his mission, getting children involved in all sorts of activities, getting it into their heads that they are first and foremost children. Today is Halloween, the day for trick or treat, a game, but this time, nothing more than a game.
Help us tear the haunted house down. You know, from the beginning all the way through the end. And I don't know, a lot of kids don't get that. You know, they go to school and they read a book all the way through, but they don't really get to be in a business type thing from the beginning all the way through. And as you get older and go through life, you'll see what I mean and why that's kind of a good achievement. And not a lot of kids can do that. So you need to give yourselves a hand of applause there. And have fun tonight. Don't forget, come back.
She told me when him and her went to the store, my grandpa was walking out to put groceries in the car, and these guys walked up. They pulled up beside him, and then my grandpa took off. And then when my grandpa went to the store, they just hit him, and then they shot him.
And he was killed?
And he was killed, yeah.
Did you like your grandfather?
Yeah, I love my grandfather.
So how did it make you feel?
Bad. Can I have that candy?
Yeah, you can. Clifford is 10 years old. He's the one who came to us to talk. With a mother who lives by her charms on the outskirts of Oklahoma, and a father he never knew.
Down inside there.
A tiny little fellow, left almost entirely to his own devices, full of life and in love with his bike. A tiny being, yet one who is well known to the police. Clifford commits one misdemeanor after another. His mind is utter confusion. Good and evil are all mixed up. Today, he is only sure of one thing. He needs a gun. And so it seemed perfectly natural for him to come to us to get one.
You gonna give me a gun?
Huh?
You gonna give me a gun?
Is that really what you want?
Yeah, really want a gun.
But why do you want a gun?
Tell me.
Because
what?
Because it's something to practice with and stuff.
Is it to protect yourself?
Yeah.
Are you afraid?
Am I afraid of what?
You know, you want to protect yourself. You got to be afraid of something.
Yeah, I'm afraid.
Afraid of who?
Everybody.
Do you think people are here to harm you?
Yeah. Not all people, but people. People, but not all people. So you're gonna give me a gun? Would you?
Today in America, who will prevent this child from getting his gun?